Time now for my cousin Adam. Adam Calvert called in from New York. Give us a little bit of legal advice. And we're talking off the air about Liam Neeson, the greatest actor of our generation. Or one of, aside from Christian Slater and Jim Caviezel, of course. What's your favorite Liam Neeson movie, Adam Calvert?
My favorite Liam Neeson movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think he's had some good ones as of late, but I mean, Highlander and stuff like that, those are great movies.
Great movie, yeah. I mean, even there's Schindler's List, but that's not really...
Oh, yeah.
There was, he was the only good thing about any of the episode 1, 2, and 3s of Star Wars.
True.
So, all that good stuff. Because I was just looking at the reviews for this Unknown movie, which I actually wanted to see tonight, getting bad reviews because people are saying that it's implausible that that this could never happen.
Who cares? It's a movie. That makes me want to see it more.
It's an action movie.
Yeah.
In the movie Taken, which I really think is one of the most enjoyable movies I've ever seen, his daughter is kidnapped by sex slave traders. He goes to Romania or wherever, or France, and just kills everyone. He walks into a building with a bunch of sex traders and just kills everyone with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Takes his daughter back, goes home. It's amazing. And then they say, oh, well, it's implausible.
And then trains her to be the next Britney Spears.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, then he dropped her off.
All the diehards. I mean, then all the diehards are implausible. I mean, then that's the best action series ever.
Wait a minute. Live Free or Die Hard, where Bruce Willis or John McClane jumps he jumps from a bridge onto a jet and then takes it down. You're telling me that's implausible? Come on. It happens every day.
Didn't he take down a helicopter in the same movie?
Yeah, he flies a car into a helicopter.
Because he ran out of bullets.
It's amazing, though, but it's great. It's an action movie. Come on, have some fun with it.
All right, well, let's get into this. This is a fun story because this is, to me, this is why people like you exist, Adam. And this is, in my opinion, a failure on one of your brethren's parts. Paul Wiegand of Wichita, Kansas, he went to trial to try and fight a ticket that he received for not wearing his seatbelt while driving. He's fighting it because he was wearing a seatbelt. He's arguing the law doesn't specifically say that the seatbelt has to be attached to the vehicle. He fashioned a belt out of an old seatbelt, put it around his waist, and snapped it. But as prosecutors pointed out to him, while a seatbelt will keep your pants up, it will not keep you safe in an accident. Wiegand refused to buckle up because he said he has a phobia. His phobia is a fear of being trapped inside a burning car and not being able to get out of it. He still has to pay the ticket because, and in court, apparently, he was just like, I figured this was going to happen someday. But apparently the way the law is written, it doesn't specifically state that you're required to have the belt actually attached to the seat. So, I don't know. What's your commentary on this? Break this down for us.
Okay, well, the first thing I'll do is I'll just read you the law real quick. It says here, each occupant of a passenger car manufactured with safety belts in compliance with Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 208 shall have a safety belt properly fastened about such person's body at all times when the passenger car is in motion. So as you see there, it doesn't say anything about it being attached. It says safety belt properly fastened about your body. Well, I mean, wasn't that what this guy did? He had a safety belt around his body. It was fastened.
Of course, I love this guy's... I love the notion this guy had, so of course I champion him. So if that's the case, and we're supposed to follow the letter of the law, then why did this guy receive the fine even after going to court to plead his case?
Well, the judge said the intent of the law, it's a given that the belt has to be attached to the car. So the judge is reading in something into the law that's not there in the words. And that happens a lot. It really just depends on the circumstances. I mean, here, I think a lot of it's just assumed that the seatbelt that's properly fastened is one that's also attached to the seat.
Well, see, I also agree with the judge in this situation because he's using common sense, and I'd like more common sense in the court system. And if that's the case, why are other laws so complicated and so complex? If we're willing to say that these loopholes can be ridiculous sometimes, how come they're ridiculous in some cases, but they're justified in others? Why is that? Why can't we just have simpler laws? Because I feel like now, because of this guy, you're going to get this law rewritten, and it's going to include everything, and it's going to be written in such a complicated way that no one's even ever going to be able to understand it anymore.
Sure. I mean, the whole purpose of having a law that's written out is to give people notice of what you can and cannot do. So if you leave it vague, then you don't have the notice, and you're going to have tons more guys like this who are trying to argue over the interpretation of a law. So you have to write it out in these boring legalese phrases that nobody can really understand, because you have to cover all your bases. And what the judge did here was read something and it's not there, but it's kind of a common sense sort of thing he read in. I know in Maryland they're trying to redo the cell phone laws, texting there, because they left certain things out. And if you look at those laws, I think there's a better case for having to rewrite it, because the laws are missing things that aren't common sense. Yeah, well, about whether or not you can text at a red light or something like that.
Yeah, you bring up the Maryland thing, and yeah, I believe that there's some sort of, they're trying to redefine what operating a vehicle actually is. Some are saying that if the keys are just simply in the ignition, you are in fact operating it. And so they're saying that now that if you pull over on the side of the road, that you'll actually have to turn the car off, which essentially, in my mind, becomes actually more dangerous than being engaged in the vehicle and doing something else, because I don't know, you can be distracted for other reasons. So does that mean that we are now going to have to go through all of our laws and redefine the terms, even that are just stated in the actual law itself? Because operating a vehicle, now we have to go back and figure out what operating a vehicle is. Wearing a seatbelt, now we have to go back and redefine what wearing a seatbelt actually is. I mean, are we doing ourselves more harm than good? Shouldn't we just leave it up to judges to interpret these things as we come to court?
Well, no, because, let's say you get a judge in Montgomery County who's going to interpret it one way, and you get a judge in Cecil County who's going to interpret it another way. I mean, you're driving through the state, what are you supposed to do? Say, oh, well, I'm in this county, so I think I can do this because this is what the judges in this county have ruled. And, then you cross the line into Howard County and you got to put your cell phone away. And, it's too much left up to chance. And
is that, what about...
Laws aren't supposed to be like that.
Is the concept of the spirit of the law, letter of the law and spirit of the law, I've always been confused of spirit of the law. If someone violates the spirit of the law, is that a legal thing, or is that just can you be legally charged with violating the spirit of the law if not the letter of it?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I guess the spirit of the law is sort of like what this guy in Kansas did. I mean, the spirit of the law is you're supposed to wear a seatbelt that is a normal seatbelt. I mean, it doesn't say it explicitly that the seatbelt has to be attached. The letter of the law doesn't say it has to be attached, but the spirit of the law would say common sense says it has to be attached.
Right, because the spirit of the law supposedly is that it's supposed to be for your own safety, and it doesn't do anything for your safety if it's not attached to the actual framework of the car. The thing with this is that as anyone knows that listens, I hate seatbelt laws with a passion. I think they're absolutely ridiculous. So on that end of it, I love what this guy did. He's my hero. But at the same time, it's people like this that do this kind of stuff that are the reasons why all these other laws are so complicated and all these little things are spelled out, because people try. So it's kind of like if this guy had done this with something else, I'd probably hate him for it, but since he did it with the seatbelt thing, I like it. So I guess if I'm going to be consistent, I would have to say that even though I despise seatbelt laws, still, I mean, the judge should be able to say, you know what we mean. I mean, you know what we mean. This is not, you can't just escape a law on a technicality.
Now, if this guy wanted to appeal and you were defending him, would he have a case? Does he have a case in saying that I fear for my life because I have a phobia that if I did wreck and there was a fire, I would be trapped in the car because you would actually be forcing me to confine myself to it? Does he have anything there? Is there any substance to that?
I don't think so. I mean, and you just don't want to let people get exceptions to the law based off of something that is kind of, well, I guess it's not subjective. I mean, I guess a doctor could diagnose him, but then, everybody's going to be coming up with a phobia to get out of whatever law it is they don't like. And, if the exception isn't carved out in the law, then it's not going to fly.
All right, well, last question. If this guy did still want to challenge this, could he challenge it and then they would subsequently have to change the wording of the law, but he could get away with this because right now, under his current case, it doesn't specifically specify that he did anything wrong?
I believe so, yes. I mean, if he challenged it and won, and then they subsequently changed the law, he would not be fined. Because it's called ex post facto. You can't change the law and then charge somebody with violating it before the law was changed.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from with the phobia thing, because I am one of those people that unbuckles my seatbelts when I go over bridges.
Oh, nice.
And
I didn't think about that. That's actually wise. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if you have an airbag, because if the impact you're coming straight down, then you'd probably survive that. But then if you're unconscious and you're just like, oh, crap, I got to get out of here, you're not going to be swimming anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and people can say, oh, that's dumb, but wait till the time when the Chesapeake Bay Bridge collapses. I'm going to be feeling pretty smart. Well, thanks a lot, Adam Calvert. We will talk to you next week. Very well done.
All right, gentlemen. Always a pleasure.